liberal. I just wonder, apparently federal liberals or liberals in general think they are the natural governing party. And the challenge here is, during last few elections, we realized that the conservative bought the playbook from the local liberals' playbook. Give you an example. Last election, just the past provincial election, a lot of Chinese Canadian candidates, including non-Chinese candidates, put the advertising dollars into the newspapers, medias, and in my experience, and also Jason Kenney and the Conservative during the Chinese New Year, the Conservative Party of Canada, they do the advertising, wish Chinese Lucky New Year, blah, blah, blah. So by comparison, Liberal Party of Canada did nothing, just talking the lips, without worrying about the journalists in the ethnic, such a competitive market, calling us to attend your publicity.
Are you asking?
Are you going to do the same? No. I just want to know. Are you going to borrow
your advertising dollars here if Jason loses the election? Is that what you're talking about?
No. Well, I don't know. That's one of the. I don't know the. That's why I'm asking the question. So, the question is, can I ask a question? The question: are you going to borrow your provincial counterparts playbook and a conservative? Spend as part of your budget, support your local candidate, support ethnic media, let us do a better job to build up this country.
We're going to do a phenomenal job of connecting with Canadians. And one of the great things that community media does is it reaches Canadians of all different backgrounds to inform them not just about what's happening in the old country, but about how they can connect properly with the country that is now theirs in Canada. And I believe in community media, and I have always supported it and will always support it with interviews like this, but also with advertisements as the Liberal Party does. But it's very important to highlight the difference between what the Conservatives have done and are doing and the Liberal approach. The Conservative approach is fundamentally transactional. We will help fund this festival if you vote for us. We will put an advertising into your ad campaign if you write an editorial that is in favor of us. And they are very, very sharp about that. It's a buying of services back and forth. And I think that actually weakens our democracy. I'm much more interested in talking about how members of different cultural communities can be better Canadians, can engage more with everything that's going on within and across and beyond their communities. And that means respecting on a deep level and not just throwing a few advertising dollars here and there, but actually engaging and empowering community leaders to be strong voices. One of the things that we have is we have a political party in the Conservatives that regularly puts forward candidates from a particular community in the window. But what those candidates actually talk about, what those MPs actually talk about, are not the concerns of their communities to Ottawa. They're talking about Ottawa's issues, or Stephen Harper's voice, to their communities. Fundamentally, MPs are supposed to be representatives of their communities to Ottawa. And instead, most Conservative multicultural MPs are Ottawa's representatives to their communities. And that is a breakdown of the democracy we need to build, and that's what I will have no time for. Thank you very much for that question. Yes, sir.
I'm the editor of the Sri Lanka Report. My name is Sriman Ramewa. Sri Lanka has a very long history of friendship and love and support from your part. Basically, under the Colombo plan, we had almost all the trains that are running in the long distance trains, over 150 kilometers of that. I think the trains given by the Trudeau government, under the government. Now it is completely different because under Mr. Harper's government, they have taken, I'm not making a comment on my own, I only want to know what your comment is. Our comment that, not comment really, they will go for the government, Mr. Spalding, the heads of government. They didn't go. What they banned political parties is not my business. So what I'm asking is, they didn't go because of a bad human rights reputation, and the UN has asked for the independent commission. Government has refused it, and it is going on like that. If you are back in, if you are in power as the Prime Minister of Canada, what will you do?
Well, I think Canada needs to be a strong voice for defense of human rights around the world. And the current Sri Lankan government has demonstrated repeatedly that it is not taking seriously what it has been tasked to do by the UN, by the international community, to reflect on the violence of the past years and to move forward in a way that fully respects and empowers all minorities. When we hear the stories of mosques and churches and temples being under attack in Sri Lanka by the Sinhalese majority, that truly worries me. Because any country around the world needs to be defined by how it treats its minorities. And the situation in Sri Lanka by the current government is unacceptable to me. And Canada will be a friend to Sri Lanka by pointing out its behavior is unacceptable. Now, there's a question of whether a last-minute boycott by Canada of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Colombo was useful. I think it should have been done differently. I think either you do what the Prime Minister of England did, which is go and be very, very clear about the unacceptable behaviors from a position of strength inside, or else you work multilaterally to make sure that